Okay.
Big Hat, Montana. World famous for the giant hat statues that greet visitors on their way into the sleepy town. Wherever you're coming from, you're gonna see a hat. Has not only been the town's motto for the last 200 years, but also a tidy summation of the philosophy of life shared by the town's inhabitants. Sheila Knopf was born in Big Hat. She was born New Year's Day, 1980, and her picture appeared on the front page of the Big Hat Time, the town's local newspaper.
It wasn't called Big Hat Times?
No, just Big Hat Time.
Big Hat Time, like it's Big Hat Time, everybody.
No, it's a newspaper, Big Hat Time.
Okay.
Why are you picking on a little detail like that?
I thought it was funny.
Okay, yeah,
It might have been a
mood,
typo.
Mood is being established here.
Okay.
It wasn't a typo. Knopf's Make New Year's Baby was the headline, and the framed front page news clipping was proudly displayed in Knopf's home. Sheila was remembered by friends as being an eager student, a trustworthy friend, and a devoted model railroading enthusiast. Her high school yearbook gently teased Sheila, stating that she had laid more track than Union Pacific.
What?
She laid more track than Union Pacific Railroad.
Okay.
Because she built so many model railroading.
Yeah.
After finishing high school... Okay, something horrible. Again, Miss Elizabeth delights in this setup part where, someone's living a good life and the dark clouds start appearing. Mm-hmm. Something horrible is going to happen to them. And Miss Elizabeth just whips the crowd up into laughing,
I love these stories. I love what happened after high school.
After finishing high school, Sheila went to work for Tip Top Trains, a local model railroading company known coast to coast for their model trains, tracks, and miniature shrubbery. Sheila worked at her dream job with boundless energy. Her enthusiasm caught the eye of a co-worker. Nick Knopf was a couple years older than Sheila. Laughing at the guy's name. Nick Knopf. Sounds like a private eye to me. Nick Knopf was a couple years older than Sheila, and he too started at the company right after high school. He approached Sheila on a break, introduced himself, and the pair soon bonded over their shared love of toy trains, fondue, and nude modeling.
What?
Uh-huh.
How does the train models modeling?
They
and
like
nude
trains,
modeling.
but they also both like fondue, and they also like nude modeling.
Okay. It's very 70s aesthetic going on here.
It was the 80s by then.
Okay.
Or even, no. When was she born? 1980. Early
So
2000s.
So she's investing herself in a career as a hobbyist train salesperson.
She went to work for Tip Top Trains.
Yeah.
They design and make model railroads.
I understand.
She loves fondue. She loves nude modeling. She found a guy who's into the same stuff.
It's extremely niche.
What?
It's extremely niche.
Nude modeling?
Well, no, the trains.
What? I don't know what you mean. What? You're picking on her career choice now.
I'm sorry.
Kids love trains.
I hope the crime has something to do with trains.
Everybody loves fondue, and there's a certain percentage who loves...
Everybody loves fondue?
Nude modeling.
Okay. There is a certain percentage that does like nude modeling.
The two began dating... We'll never get through this at this rate. The two began dating and became a fixture of Big Hat's nightlife. When they weren't consuming cubes of beef at one of Big Hat's many fondue restaurants, they were lighting up the dance floor with their favorite dance, the locomotion.
Of course it was.
I don't know what other dance you could do.
Gotta do the locomotion.
I guess. Well, that's what the song tells you to do. Wedding bells were soon ringing for the happy couple, and the two were wed in a church built from a converted caboose. Holy cow. They do a little romantic gesture, and Miss Elizabeth's sides are splitting.
Okay.
Big Hat has a church that's made from a converted caboose.
Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah. when the horrible crime happens, you're going to be on the floor laughing so hard. Just no compassion at all. I don't even know where I am anymore.
You're somewhere near the word caboose.
Okay. Sheila Knopf's hard work at Tip Top Trains led to her being put in charge of new product design. Aren't you going to hit the laugh there?
Sure.
She's developing her passion into a career, and now she's can design the very thing she loves.
I know.
Sounds like a good life to me.
It's an incredible
career. She's living with. She's married to Nick Knopf.
Yeah.
They're eating cubes of beef. They're nude modeling. It's a good life.
It's delightful.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
I'm feeling defensive now.
I don't know what the hell we're doing.
Miss Elizabeth is hopped up.
You're gonna
today.
have to cut some of this laughing out. Oh.
No, I'm not cutting anything. One of her designs, Benjamin the Train with a Brain, became wildly popular. You haven't heard of Benjamin?
No.
Okay.
I'm lost, actually.
Benjamin the Train with a Brain
Okay.
became wildly popular. Humanized rail equipment was just what the country needed in the early 2000s, and the public couldn't get enough of Benjamin, or his friends Mortimer the Talking Tanker, or Switchy the Switch.
I've heard of a show that's about like talking train for children. What's it called again?
Benjamin the Train with a Brain.
No, it's not.
There's another one?
There's another one.
Well, a rip-off show.
Okay.
Well, Benjamin was huge, all kinds of... Well, as you'll hear, which you'll think is pretty hilarious, the door is left open for a bunch of imitators to flood in. Later on, something bad happens.
Maybe that's where... Okay.
The Benjamin product line exploded in popularity, making Tip Top Trains the #1 model railroad company in the U.S.
In the U.S.?
Yeah.
Okay.
She designed it. So Sheila Knopf designed Benjamin Train with a Brain.
Got it.
Insanely popular.
I hope there's going to be a crime.
Yes!
Okay.
Unlike yours, there will definitely be a crime in this one.
Okay, stabbing someone in the chest is not going to be not a crime.
He fell on it when he was hunting an ox or something.
No. You don't know that.
He didn't die from it. It was a silly accident.
He might have died from it.
He and his cave mates probably had a good laugh over it.
Oh.
He died at 50. He was an old man then.
He was an old man, yeah.
So, yeah, no murder. No evidence.
But it was
no
still
story.
a crime.
Let's go. So, Benjamin's taken off. Hollywood notices. And they make it clear they want to hop on board as well. Benjamin, the Train with the Brain, and his TV adventures with his friends premiered in January 2003 and became the most popular children's show on the air. What?
I'm trying to think of the name of that other
Benjamin.
show. It's not Benjamin.
It is.
Okay.
There are other shows, but this is the one you remember.
Okay.
It's like you remember Barbie, but you don't remember all the copies.
Okay.
So Benjamin, Train with a Brain, and his TV adventures with his friends.
Okay.
There is a crime coming, by the way.
Good.
Tip Top Trains rewarded their star designer by giving Sheila millions of dollars worth of stock options, but very little actual cash. At the time, Sheila didn't mind, as there seemed to be no stopping Benjamin and his friends.
Okay. Yeah, those trains get a lot of momentum, don't they?
Definitely. In 2004, with little warning, Benjamin, the Train with a Brain, was broadsided by a cruise missile and fell to Earth like a 90-ton hunk of lead.
Metaphorically.
Yeah.
Okay.
The New York Times published a blockbuster front-page expose that detailed the anti-social messages that were being hidden in episodes of the popular show.
Oh, I hate when people
Backwards
do that.
Messages. Strikes again. Messages promoting the worship of Satan, drug use, and drag racing.
Sounds like your story has some death metal elements in it.
No, this is negative.
Yeah, I know.
Messages promoting the worship of Satan, drug use, and drag racing were reversed and quietly hidden in the show's soundtrack.
Boy.
The culprit was never found, but was likely a bored sound engineer.
Yeah, usually is.
Sheila Knopf was stunned, and horrified parents flooded the network with complaints. Network executives, eager to end the emergency as soon as possible, had Benjamin the train with a brain taken out behind the barn.
Oh, metaphorically.
No.
What?
Benjamin was done.
Okay. Is that the crime?
No! I'm right. The cancelled show ended on a cliffhanger, so the world would never learn if Benjamin survived the avalanche or if Switchy the Switch was able to reconcile with her dying father. Ay, ay, ay. Hilarious. I cried during that scene.
I'm crying right now.
When Switchy was like, Papa? Papa?
Oh, don't.
Yeah, I'm choking up a little just thinking about it now.
I wish we had some examples of the quotes that were the backwards quotes.
Oh, just run-of-the-mill stuff. Worship the devil, Let's go drag racing.
Just like, worship the devil.
No, it's just normal voice. Worship the devil. Oh. Satan's what matters. Let's go to hell, everybody. Like, it was for a kid. For a kid's show. Like, they had to make it sound fun.
Okay.
So.
I wonder if anybody fell for it.
No. I think this was sabotage. They were somebody was trying to sink the show.
Okay. So no kid actually got infected with
No
this.
one converted to Satanism because of the show.
Okay, good. Phew.
The backwards messaging story not only sunk the TV show, it tainted the brand of Benjamin as well. Tip Top Train's sales fell faster than a train off an incomplete railway bridge spanning a gorge.
Metaphorically.
No, that's literal again. Investors fled, customers vanished into thin air, and the company's finances collapsed.
I don't think you know what metaphorically means.
Whatever. Benjamin, the train with a brain, soon became synonymous with devastating corporate failure. Mm-hmm. Before the year was out, Tip Top Trains was out of business, their stock worthless, and Sheila was on the hunt for a new job.
Oh, darn it. Is there a crime coming?
Yes!
Okay.
Do you not know the true crime genre?
Yeah.
You set the mood. You set a mood. There's like an idyllic situation.
So the crime...
we give a little history of the central person involved. Mm-hmm. We learn about them.
Mm-hmm.
We
like
become
Shanadar
invested.
3.
No.
Yeah.
A real person, Sheila Knopf.
Shanadar 3 was real?
No.
Okay.
It's made up. By bored archaeologists.
There was an actual skeleton.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
There's a tone. We get a character we get invested in.
So the crime
She's leading her life. She has some success.
Yeah.
A little setback. But maybe she might get her feet back under her again. And then she might get whammoed by a crime of unimaginable dimensions.
And the crime here isn't that the satanic
No,
messaging.
No.
Okay.
That's a life.
That's
bump.
just all
That's
part.
a bump in the life.
Okay, bump in the life. Okay. So we're still waiting on the crime.
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay. If you have to, how does it feel? Does it feel like we're at the crime yet? It doesn't to me.
No, it feels like
we're heading up to a breath, and then we're gonna charge towards the crime.
Let's do it.
It's like marching up a hill in the snow. All was not lost for the Knopf household. During the previous year, Nick Knopf saw his career head in a different direction as he developed a carnival act in which he performed with a horse that was apparently able to do algebra.
What?
He found a really smart horse that could do algebra.
Well, horses are smart. Okay, I'm going to accept it.
It's like, horse, solve this quadratic equation, and then it would tap.
Well, my kids can solve quadratics, so.
Are they a horse?
No, of course not.
Mr. Nick and Clever Horse were a hit at carnivals, children's parties, and corporate events throughout the northwestern United States. This meant the Knopfs were at least able to pay the bills while Sheila looked for work. When True Crime returns, we'll learn of a burning vision that changes a life, a twist of fate that has lasting repercussions, and a crime so devious locals cannot speak of it without shuddering and hastily blessing themselves even to this day. So should I just do that? That's zooming into the commercial.
Okay.
The honk. Now it's like, no, what you just said was ridiculous.
I wish we had a commercial. Do we have a commercial?
We don't have a commercial.
Okay.
It's part of the form. Now I'm going to go back and say all that stuff again.
Oh.
Bring people who weren't watching before the commercial break.
Sorry,
Bring them up
folks.
to speed.
Okay, let's do it.
When Nick Knopf departed Tip Top Toys to start his successful Genius Horse Carnival act, a space on the design team opened up, and Sheila Knopf recruited Mallory Murdstone, a local woman who, as far as the people of Big Hat, Montana were concerned, was a wealthy dowager. But she was, in fact, a model railroading-obsessed designer, much like Sheila.
Okay.
Despite having the demeanor of a wicked character from a Dickens novel, Mallory Murdstone nevertheless provided many original and popular designs to the company. Her love of dark clothing, sour disposition, and habit of wearing large hats made other residents suspicious.
So, people in Big Hat didn't like her wearing big hats?
What? No, they didn't like her big hats.
They didn't like her big hats.
They were too ostentatious.
I feel like she's bringing a real sort of a gothic feel into the business.
I don't know what she was up to. She's up to something no good. She just look at that name, Mallory Murdstone.
Yeah.
How could she not be evil?
Wasn't she born with that name? Probably.
I don't know.
Are people
Probably.
born with
Most
names
people are
that-
born with names.
Yeah. But her name makes her evil.
You know, it's kind of. I don't know why we talked about the company going out of business, because we're going back now to talk about Mallory joining up. But you have to save. I do know why. You have to save the villain introduction to after the commercial.
Okay.
Let's press on, because we're heading straight to the crime.
Can't wait.
So, this Mallory Murdstone, you know, she appears to be law-abiding, but what foul schemes is this witch concocting under her unholy...
Under her unholy pot.
So this Mallory Murdstone, she appears to be law-abiding, but what foul schemes is this witch concocting in her unholy pot? What witch's brew of madness will this town soon be innocently imbibing? Is there any way to stop this bride of Satan from fulfilling her dark master's wishes?
Do you think, did she have anything to do with these satanic messages?
Maybe. I wouldn't put it past her.
Sounds like a good match. Was she ever investigated?
Well,
It's not
don't
the
jump
crime.
ahead.
Okay,
Don't jump
okay,
ahead.
Okay.
Innocent of the supernatural danger growing around her like a noxious weed plant, the ever-resourceful Sheila Knopf soon landed on a new idea to start the next phase of her career. Company's out of business. They met while they were still working together. Now the company's gone. With the help of her horse-handling husband, Sheila opened up Big Hat Bingo. When a town loses a major company like Tip Top Trains, its residents are hurting and they need something to start the healing process. A state-of-the-art bingo facility is just what the doctor ordered, and the town flooded in to give Sheila money to dab pieces of paper with ink. Making fun of bingo now.
I don't know. It's just very dramatic. Just a bingo company.
She's saving that town. The town was dying. The Tip Top Trains was out. They had no reason to be a town anymore. But she opened up a bingo hall. The town has a purpose again.
Okay.
Saturday nights soon became known across Montana as Big Hat, Big Money, Big Bingo Night. What, too catchy? Is that why that's funny?
Yep.
The hall was filled to capacity with a lineup 4 blocks long snaking outside the building. Sheila stood to make tens of thousands of dollars each Saturday, and she worked hard to ensure the bingo was as good as it could be. She even invited the Guinness Book of World Records to certify that her spaghetti buffet was the largest one in the world. Sheila was back on top, but soon she was to have her life shattered by a senseless crime.
Oh, so the senseless crime is against Sheila.
Yeah, the person we've been talking about this whole time.
Okay.
She's the protagonist.
Okay.
What, you don't like her?
Okay.
She hasn't been painted with a really...
Yeah.
She's getting back on her feet.
Okay.
She was doing what she loved. That got taken away from
I
her
thought-
through no fault of her own.
I thought
she
we had
created something the world loved. Now she's created something else her town loves.
Okay.
There is no stopping this woman.
I
But
thought we'd
someone is determined to try.
Okay. It's not me.
Her life would soon be shattered by a senseless crime, one inspired by envy, the green-eyed serpent of vices. On June 4th, 2005, that's the worst possible time to do that. The hammer is about to fall.
I know you just...
And these giggling idiots thinks it's laughing time at the beach.
Well, you just said the date in a very momentous kind of a way. So I knew that the crime might be coming, and I thought I'd pop a little laugh in there. Yeah, let's do it.
On June 4th, 2005. On June 4th, 2005, a nightmare was unleashed on the town of Big Hat. The Saturday night bingo had taken place as normal, but when Sheila was getting ready to count up the evening's take, she was thrown into a whirlpool of horror and insanity.
Oh dear. Sounds almost like a Cthulhu story.
It's supernatural.
Okay. It is? So is it a crime then?
Yes. She went to the cash box that was to have contained the cash for the evening, but found it dented, open, and empty. The evening's take had been stolen. Sheila reeled
the bingo
from
cash? Okay.
The cash from the evening, her lifeblood, the town's lifeblood,
right, the bingo
stolen
cash.
by a vampire.
A vampire? What? How did
money
you get
vampire.
There? Oh, a money vampire. A thief, you mean?
Sheila reeled from the shock. She called out to her husband Nick, who ran into the room, to find Sheila on the floor, shaking in disbelief.
Oh, good lord.
There's no heart. After comforting his wife, Nick ran to find Handsome Mike, a friend of Nick's from the carnival.
We've never met Mike before.
He's a friend of Nick's from the carnival who had been helping run that night's bingo.
Okay.
Handsome Nick frowned.
Mike.
Handsome Mike frowned. Oh, you got me all mixed up. You don't.
That's okay. I'm mixed up too.
Handsome Mike frowned, rubbed his dimpled chin in thought, and suggested that the perpetrator.
He has a dimple?
Well, he's Handsome Mike.
Of course.
And it suggested that the perpetrator of the crime was probably that old crabby Mallory Murdstone.
Okay.
Nick agreed that she looked like someone who would commit such a deed.
Oh, evidence.
Nick called the police, who soon swarmed Mallory Murdstone's bungalow.
Oh, okay. So she has a name you think is evil that she was born probably with.
Didn't you hear about the witch's brew and all that?
She's got a witch's brew.
She's a bride of Satan.
And so they think that she probably committed this crime.
She sounds like the kind of person who would steal bingo money.
We've never heard of Handsome Mike before, but suddenly he comes out of the carnival with dimples all over his chin.
It's Handsome Mike.
And seems to know exactly who stole it, and it wasn't him.
Why would Handsome Mike
steal money? I don't know,
money?
but when somebody suddenly pops out of nowhere in the middle of a crime scene...
Guys want to be him, and the women want to be with him.
What does that have to do with it?
Don't derail my story.
Okie dokie.
This is 500 hours of research, and you're dumping it in the crapper.
It's 500 hours of true crime story as well. Can we get to it?
Yes. Investigators were not convinced by Murdstone's airtight alibi that she'd been working late at a Habitat for Humanity build site and had about 20 people who could testify to the fact.
So not evil then.
Well, that's a pretty good cover.
It is, yeah.
But there's nothing like a good alibi to raise suspicions, and the police were having none of it. Murdstone was placed in the back of a cop car and was hurriedly taken to jail.
Boy, small towns, hey?
The deceitful scoundrel had plenty of time to think about what she'd done as she cooled her heels in the hoosegow. Sheila Knopf, for her part, kind soul that she is, didn't believe that Mallory Murdstone was guilty.
Oh, that's nice of her.
A brief investigation performed by Knopf revealed that her husband Nick had brought his horse from the carnival act, Mr. Cherries, to the bingo.
No. Was
Mr. Cherries.
Very smart algebra
the algebra horse, Mr. Cherries.
Okay, suddenly...
He got brought to the bingo.
Suddenly he's now a suspect in our story.
Why?
I don't know.
Can you let me get to the next sentence?
It's got to be either Magic Mike or Algebra Horse.
The horse had wandered into Sheila's office, stomped the cash box, and consumed the money.
It's the horse. Wait a minute. The horse can perform algebra, but doesn't know not to eat money.
Not to eat money.
Yeah.
It's a horse.
But he does algebra.
People who are good in math can be dumb at other things.
And just eat money? Okay.
But the police and townspeople demanded to know how an innocent horse like Mr. Cherries could get mixed up with an evil sorceress like Mallory Murdstone.
What? Why do they think that Mr. Cherries has anything to do with Mallory Murdstone?
It was concluded that although Mr. Cherries committed the crime, he was not...
Crime?
He was not to be held legally responsible. As he was probably under the influence of an evil spell.
Oh my god.
An evil spell.
Oh.
Probably cast by Mallory Murdstone.
Yes, you didn't have to say it.
The fate of Mallory Murdstone is unclear. She disappeared from jail the following day. Disappeared.
Oh, really?
Some say that she was bailed out by family.
Likely.
Who then threatened to sue the town and the police if the ridiculous charges weren't dropped.
Sounds likely, right?
Murdstone then retired to Florida.
Okay.
But most of the town believes that she simply disappeared from the cell, aided by that sinister black magic that had caught Sheila Knopf, Nick Knopf, and Mr. Cherries, the clever horse, in its foul web. Big Hat today has returned to normal. A bustling erotic cake industry has filled the hole left by the collapse of tip-top trains. Sheila now runs a chain of bingo halls across Montana, and her husband Nick continues to perform with Mr. Cherries. But these good people and horse are sadder and wiser, forever tainted by the sinister crime visited upon them.
Well, I wish I had an applause button, because that was a miracle.
That was a terrifying tale.
That was amazing. I loved it.
Twists and turns. Heroes to cheer for and villains to hiss and boo.
Oh my god. I mean, it really
Mr.
almost...
Cherries.
It should, like, let's be honest. This should be made into a TV show.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, Mr. Cherries...
The algebra-solving horse.
And Mike, Handsome Mike.
Handsome Mike.
Handsome Mike, like his name is Handsome Mike, and oh my god. I'm out of breath.
What?
I need to lie down.
Okay, yes, but that was all true, though. That was just research.
Yeah, okay.
Speaking of other things that are true, Smile Syndicate is on Twitter, Facebook, Flick-Flack.
Flick-Flack, wait a minute.
Yep.
No, you gotta go back. You gotta explain about Flick-Flack.
Flick-Flack. Ugh, why? Do you need help with Facebook, too?
I've never heard of Flick-Flack.
Twitter, you post these little messages and
Don't do this.
And then Facebook,
no.
You like each other's faces, and on Flick-Flack, on Flick-Flack, all you do is follow each other.
Oh.